What's going to happen?
When they open this bank in the morning, they're going to tear it apart.
You're a bosom companion of Rip McCool's, ain't you? What's he going to do about it?
I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
Hello, Shocker.
Hello, Johnny. I thought you'd be here.
Is Rip up? Mrs. Stritch been here?
Rip waiting for her. He full of pleasure.
Ornery devil. Hello, Rip. Hello, Johnny. Some coffee?
Thanks.
I knew you'd be here. Give me the right moral direction. The bank going to open in the morning?
Won't last 30 minutes.
Éinda Stritch will be here before sunup.
Can you see yourself coming to the rescue?
I wouldn't recognize myself.
Unfortunate.
I have $200 on deposit in that bank.
But, Johnny, you always take money so lightly. With me, it's a disease.
Hi, fella.
Johnny!
You're up pretty late, son.
He won't say hello, Johnny.
Daddy, are you gonna save the bank?
Well, don't tell me you've got money there, too.
Yes, I do. That $20 gold piece you gave me for my birthday.
I'll give you another one. It's time for bed.
Good night, Johnny.
Good night, boys. Sleep well.
John? You didn't say goodnight to your father. Good night.
Good night, Daddy.
San Francisco is on the brink of disaster. There will be blood flowing in the gutters if that bank fails. Rip, you and those stock exchange wolves have just about ruined this city's economy. It's on your head. And now you're the one man can prevent complete tragedy.
Rudy, how much do you have on deposit?
Every cent I have.
Well, have a cup of coffee and sit down. We'll bleed together for San Francisco.
McCool? You know why I'm here? You've waited 15 years for this chance.
Ada, I insist on pouring you a cup of coffee.
My opinion of you isn't going to change with coffee.
You sound in remarkably good spirits. And you look sparkling.
In my book, you're a liar, a scissorbill, a pighead.
Cream?
You never earned an honest dollar in your life. You'd cheat the eyes out of your mother.
It's an ideal qualification for a partnership in your bank. Is that what you're offering me?
I need $3 million. You're the only man in San Francisco I can turn to.
Well, I'll have to think about it. I think well when I'm playing poker.
I didn't come here to play poker. I'm in trouble.
You've got bad manners, Ada. You're doing the asking, not me. As you've said, I've waited 15 years. Shall we?
What choice have I got?
None.
When you put the hooks in, you squeeze, don't you? You got the deuce, the trey, the 5, the 6. All you need is a 4 in the hole for a straight. A 4 for a 4-flusher. And I've got kings wired, back to back.
King's high. You bet.
You can't beat me without the 4 in the hole. You got it?
I haven't looked. What do you think?
What's behind this game, McCool? What are you up to?
Ada, poker's a game to uncover a man's heart. Let me watch a man play poker, and I'll tell you his fear, the degree of his greed, his courage.
I already know your character, Rip. It's rancid.
All right, you know it. Now I think I'll find out about yours.
I'm listening.
Your bank is worth $3 million in negotiable securities, stocks, bonds, and real estate. But you need the cash to stop the run.
Why not sell the securities?
Then there'd be no bank. I've got the cash and you've got the securities. And you've got a pair of kings. Are you following me, Ada? I'll bet $3 million in cash against your bank on this hand. If you win, you clean me out.
And if you win the bank?
I clean it out.
What about the depositors?
They won't get a red penny.
The depositors should pray that I don't have a 4 in the hole. Let me take a look. Is it a bet?
Just a minute, Ada, before you make up your mind. If poker tells a man's character, then the reverse should hold true. Knowledge of his character will tell you how a man will play poker.
Whose side are you on?
You forget I'm a depositor. You see what I'm getting at, Ada? You should know more about McCool before you bet.
I think he's bluffing.
You base that only on what you know about him. I, for instance, know things about McCool that you don't. Vice versa. Same goes for Flutie. For Shaka. Add up our total knowledge of his character, and you may know if he's got that 4 in the hole. Let's start with you, Ada. Check your memory. Why do you think he's bluffing?
Because he was a fraud from the first minute he walked into San Francisco 15 years ago. You were cruel right from the very beginning. I don't know why. Mean as a mountain lion. But you hit San Francisco with your claws hidden. As it happened, I was the first one you showed them to.
We just blew in from Virginia City. Saw your sign. We'd like a room, please, your best. On the corner with bath.
All the corner rooms are taken. And if you want a bath, you buy a wash tub and carry the water yourself. That'll be $3.
Splendid. Business not so good, eh?
$3 is now.
Excuse me. This ought to cover us for a few days.
Yes, it will. Mr. McCool, yours is the 4th one down the hall. I do hope you'll be comfortable.
Wonder any Serbian people, San Francisco. Must be. Not good for man being big city. No friends.
Count your friends. Add them up and throw away the list. This is the old girl that remains faithful.
$6,000 and every one of them true blue.
Man needs other friends to talk to.
Friends, you buy them on the open market. On the hoof. The old Spondulix makes you witty, full of grace, and very popular.
You smart boy.
Shocker, how'd you like to go in the hotel business?
This stone?
Sure. Shine it, run it right, could be a mint.
This lady not good for do business. She's got sharp edges.
I'll make it as painless for her as possible.
Good morning, Mrs. Stritch.
Good morning, Mr. McCool.
Can you tell me where I can find a good real estate broker? I'm looking for investments here in San Francisco.
Yes, well, there's Jim Walters. He handles a lot of transactions.
And where could I find him?
He'd be at the stock exchange, Montgomery Street.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Mrs. Stritch, if I may be so bold, you ought not to wear those high collars on your dresses. You have a lovely column of a neck, and the world should be privileged to see it. Good day.
Yes, I would, definitely. I would certainly find mine buying that. I think it's one of the best buys you'll find.
What's the matter? Somebody hurt?
A lot of people get hurt here every day, son. And as I was saying, I wouldn't buy it.
I'm looking for Jim Walters.
There he is, over there.
Mr. Walters?
Yeah?
Mr. Walters, my name is Rip McCool. I wanted to ask you about the Tremont Hotel.
What about it?
Well, what would you say was a fair price for it?
Oh, $3,000.
Hey, Gordon. Order 4 feet of Gould and Curry at 1100 and 3 Mexican at 450.
Right.
Why is everyone so quiet?
The exchange is about to open.
This are not taken. Over.
For sale at Savageboro, $2,100 a foot.
Sell. I've made $30,000 in 4 days.
$30,000.
Mr. McCool, did you find Jim Walters?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
I got thinking after you left. I'm a widow, you see. My husband was a hard rock man. There was a cave-in. I started this hotel with nothing. But I got pretty lonely, Mr. McCool. I'd like to go back to my people in Indiana.
Oh, I'm sorry for your trouble, Mrs. Stritch.
So I thought maybe this hotel is... You might be interested.
Why don't you come to my room a little later? We'll talk about it.
About 8?
Fine. Watch, money, $2,000 worth of Mona Lisa.
Like for bait rabbit trap.
Same technique exactly. First the rabbit is curious, then greedy, then the sky falls.
You no ever feel sorry for rabbit?
I think the good Lord made rabbits to be eaten. My dear Mrs. Stritch, please come in. Well, you're intoxicating. And you have unveiled your neck. What a wise decision.
I think I go look for Serbian people.
I'll see you later. You'll sell the hotel?
Yes?
How much?
$7,000?
It's too much. 3.
No.
3,500?
No.
3,000 cash. 1,000 in gilt-edged securities.
What securities?
Shares in the Mona Lisa mine. It's a new mine in the Comstock.
What's it producing?
Nothing. It hasn't opened yet. High hopes for it. Got 2,000 shares, par $1. Give you half of them. A bargain? I'll have a lawyer draw up the papers.
Trust deed, bill of sale, drawn with skill and loving care. Sign there, Mrs. Stitch.
Oh, this sounds funny, I know, but would you mind dating the bill of sale 3 days ago? You see, then I can tell my folks back in Pennsylvania I bought a hotel the first day I landed in San Francisco. It's just a fool notion.
I don't know why not. Do you, Mr. Anston?
No. I see no harm in it. There we are. You are now the owner of the Tremont Hotel.
Willikins. And now, Mrs. Stritch, you owe me for 3 days' rent for every guest in the hotel. A matter of $300, I believe.
Oh, you mangy polecat. It's impossible.
Possible. Ask your lawyer.
It's possible.
I'll call the police.
You do, and they'll laugh in the streets.
The police won't do it.
You're getting exactly what the place is worth. The stock and $3,000, minus the rent. Do unto others what they would like to do unto you. Only do it first.
That was 15 years ago. I'll never forgive you for that, McCool.
Ada, they told me the West was a jungle where it snowed. The only rule was to get the first bite. You tried, but I was faster on my feet, that's all.
And a brazen fellow you were, Rip. Strange, isn't it, how one man can reflect so many different colors like crystal in the sunlight? For instance, the first time I met you. He came to me like the Good Samaritan. I was flat on my face at the time.
I'm the one on Connick.
Tie him up.
That bitch clear.
Tie that mustache in knots.
He was overmatched. Overmatched? Why, this was fixed. He laid down like a big yellow dog.
How can you say that? Look at him.
Stand back, sonny boy. Thank you. Hey, you soft boy. Need swing picked once more.
As a fighter, you'd make a good mechanic. What's your name?
Johnny Sanderson.
You never fight before much, no?
Hunger decides those things. Consolation to the loser amounted to nearly $20.
You want a job?
You got yourself an employee. Doing what?
Night clerk in my hotel.
Be homeless, work, share study and delight. Read them by day and meditate by night.
What's that?
Poetry.
What's your trade?
I write. About like I handle my fists.
It's good. Got brain. Can use.
Dandy.
Getting ready for Mr. Thompson. Getting ready for Mr. Thompson.
Hey. 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 Hey.
Who's that?
Alexander Thompson, Duke of the Comstock. He's the only man that can take a woman on the floor of the exchange.
His wife?
Well, she's a battle.
Listen, I'll take him. Oh.
Hey,
I'll take
Yeah, this is a life. Here I'll become as rich as Croesus. That's the man. You're a broker, aren't you?
The best. My name is Carlson.
Buy me 4 feet of Ophir at $7.50. The rest on margin.
Cash, if you please. You're just dying to be clipped, ain't you?
Buy it. Go on, buy it.
Slimy wolf rat. I'll kill you. That fancy stock you gave me, it's no good.
Did I forget to tell you that?
Oh, you shag nasty.
You got exactly what the hotel is worth in cash.
Someday, somehow, I'll get even with you.
You took me for a hayseed and I foxed you. So don't cry around me. Mr. Carlson, what happened? Did you get the stock?
Got it and lost it. You're wiped out.
Lost it? What happened?
Thompson sold it short. Just dropped 500.
But that was every cent I had in the world.
Would you like a towel? So you can go and have a good cry?
A little cry might help at that.
You think these birds with their millions have any more brains than me? They just use what they got. Well, it was a good lesson anyway. Even if it did cost me $3,000. I got $10 left. Come on, I'll buy you the best lunch in San Francisco.
I'd like to, Rip, but I've got some work to do.
What kind of work?
Well, you know, Rip, I told you. I'm trying to get a little journal underway.
Oh, that. So you still want to be the big penman. Listen, you stick with me and forget those dumb ideas about a magazine. You'll make a buck. Come on, you're working for me.
Look, I'm your night clerk. The daytime's my own. Some other time, Rip. Well, the stock market didn't make Rip as rich as Croesus. At least, not then. Instead, he turned his energies into refurbishing the old Tremont Hotel. And in 2 years' time...
Net profit, $8,000. Handsome, huh? Handsome indeed. Mr. McCool, you've done a remarkable job with this hotel.
$8,000, huh? It's chicken feed.
A handsome return.
Thank you, handsome. Shucker, what's it all about?
What's the matter?
Not enough money? I don't know. I had a funny dream last night. I dreamt I was a salmon. I kept twisting and turning, fighting my way upstream, through the rapids and over the falls. I didn't know what was driving me. Then I got as far as I could go.
Then what you do?
Well, the water was very dark, very cold. And I couldn't swim anymore. And then I woke up.
I'll give you $20,000 in cash for your hotel.
It makes that much in a year.
Fortunately, you want the money to play the exchange. I don't. Is it a go?
There's a new stock on the board, just listed. Thought you ought to know.
What's the name?
It's an old mine called Mona Lisa. They've traded 1,000 shares already.
Who's back of it?
They say Thompson's syndicate.
I'm not greedy, Mr. Thompson. I don't want anything. I like Mona Lisa prospects.
All right, I've offered you 10% above the market price. Now, how much do you want? All this haggling about a few hundred dinky shares.
Not so dinky. 10% of the outstanding stock. Just about what you like to control.
I'm perfectly well...
Lily Devana's out there, sir, and she insists on seeing you.
Huh? Oh, well, all right, show her in. This'll only take a minute, and about $5,000.
Hello, you old python.
Good afternoon, Dove. Oh, this is Mr. Cool, was that?
Maccool, your servant, ma'am.
How do you do, Mr. Cool?
Someday, perhaps, you'll remember my name.
Am I interrupting some important business, Pet?
Oh, not at all. 10% above market price, and that's my final offer.
A pleasure meeting you, Mr. Vane. I like the way you operate, Mr. Thompson. I decided to gamble on that mine with you. There must be something down there.
Well, you're a cool bird, I'll say that for you.
Well, that's praise from the master. Good day.
Good day.
McCool. Rip McCool.
Lisa just reached $165. It's still climbing.
You feel bad about it?
Blind luck.
When it reaches 250, sell.
All right.
Cheat a widow woman, will you? Palm off phony shares, will you? But I sold those shares for $150,000 in cold cash.
I'm delighted.
Oh, I'm delighted. And it might interest you to know what I'm going to do with the rocks. In about a week, I'm going to throw a party. And every millionaire in San Francisco will be there. They all remember Éinda Stritch from the old days, and they'll come. How would you like to be invited?
I'd be honored.
I'll bet you would. Why, you little peanut, you couldn't wait table at this party.
$250,000, eh? I made it on my Mona Lisa stock. What do you think?
I'm happy for you, Rip.
To the stock exchange, the Aladdin's lamp.
To the exchange. You know, I had a reason for this. You're my pals. So this isn't only my good fortune, it's yours. What do you want, Shocker?
Maybe a trip to the moon.
Johnny, what about you?
Beautiful woman.
You take that magazine. I'll buy you a press and we'll start out with 10,000 circulation. Flank of the country.
Yeah, Rip, with this kind of a journal, it's not so much the circulation, it's what you have to say.
What have you got to say?
Well, you know, California's no longer a wilderness or a jungle. We have to behave like responsible citizens.
What are you going to say about me?
You? You're going to be my villain. You and the speculator. I'm going to say that...
Johnny, you always turn away from me when I need you. Well, listen, I'm never going to be on the bottom again. Everybody wants to know your heart out. Without money, you're weak. And with money, nobody can hurt you.
Please, sir, we frown on heavy drinking here.
You frown on it? Well, frown on that, you little whippersnapper.
You'll have to be more reserved, or we must ask you to leave.
Why? I ought to push you... Let us depart from this cockpit until such time as I see fit to buy it. Oh, the hogs have got to Grandma, and they carried her away. Oh, the hogs have got to Grandma, and they threw her in the bay.
$250,000 meant nothing to Rip. He had his sights set on much more.
$225.
How's the head? Rocks.
$225.
Who's in 225?
$225.
Spicy.
You old python.
And in the dawn, the alabaster rock.
That's Mrs. Alexander Thompson. Stall her for a few minutes and then send her up. Your wife's on her way up. Come on, out the window.
She what?
Hurry, come on.
Well, will that ladder hold me?
I don't know. You carry a lot of weight around this town. Get your hat and coat. The name is McCool. Mac is in mackerel.
There you are, you old goat. Oh, I'm sorry.
Unless a formal apology and a new door is forthcoming in the morning, you may expect to hear from my attorneys.
And I intend to sue your detective agency.
Well, that's that.
Oh, Mr. Thompson is a kindly man. You'll probably do all right.
I imagine you will, too.
Good night, Mr. Vane.
About last night, young man.
Excellent cigar, Mr. Thompson. Do you mind if I ask what you paid for them?
I would like to show my gratitude in some concrete fashion.
Please, sir, please.
Oh, but I insist.
Excuse me, sir, but the runner from your broker is here. It's time to place your orders for today's trading.
Mr. Thompson, you were a guest in my hotel last night. It's I who owe you an apology.
Oh, on the contrary.
I will leave you your privacy. Good day, sir.
Sit down, Mr. McCool. Adriatic should do nicely today. Start buying a half hour after the opening at the market.
Yes, sir. Anything else, sir?
No. Just Adriatic.
I'll take that.
30 minutes later, you were a millionaire. Thus, the doing of good works, plus some agile thinking. Somehow, whenever Rip cast his bread upon the waters, it came back to him covered with caviar. What about you, Flutie? Think he's bluffing?
I don't know. But he can be had. I saw it done. The town got bigger, Rip, and so did you. In fact, you were one of the big men of San Francisco. You built yourself a house on Nob Hill, distinguished by ostentation and emptiness. You bought yourself a seat on the Securities Exchange, and you were accepted by everyone. Among other interests, you picked up the Coronet restaurant, and as you promised, you became my boss. You feel all right?
Mm-hmm.
Big first night crowd out there.
Who?
McCool, for one.
Who's he with?
Johnny Sanderson,
Who's Sanderson?
a friend of his. He writes. Do your best.
I will.
When I was but a child, back in old Boston town, my dear mother would always say, there's right and there's wrong, there's the weak and the strong, and you must keep the devil away. Though I practiced and preached it again and again, now I'm sure that she meant that the devil was man. If it weren't for these men, girls could not do amiss. never have their hearts carried away. But alas, when with sighs they demand just a kiss, tell me what can a poor maiden say? She cries no, then cries hush, then looks down with a blush, while he swears to his vows he'll be true. He stays there by her side and will not be denied. Tell me, what can a poor maiden do? They're without discipline, at our pleading they grin. 'Tis in vain that we say, go away. For being a man, he's determined to win. Tell me, what can a poor maiden say? She cries no with a blush. He persists.
Join us for a drink.
She cries hush. If she runs, he will always pursue. It's the men that we fear, but without them, oh dear. Tell me, what can a poor maiden do? Yes, what can a poor maiden do? Why, what? Yes, what can a poor maiden do?
Lily, this is Johnny Sanderson.
How do you do?
He's broke.
In currency of the realm, perhaps, but not in admiration. We were about to call for candles to light the table, but that isn't necessary now.
Oh, no.
It's a pleasure to hear someone speak so nicely. San Franciscans are rather rude. Don't you think so, Mr. McCool? You're not a businessman, are you, Mr. Sanderson?
Not exactly.
What do you do?
I write.
Not poetry. Why, that makes us fellow artists, doesn't it? I suppose you'd think me rather bold if I asked you to read me some of your poems.
Bold? I can hardly think of a word less fitting.
Try poppycock.
I'm sorry, but I must change for my next number. It's been such a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Sanderson.
Enchanting is the word. Whew.
Well, it seems she likes you.
Doesn't it, though?
Let's go. I've got a big day ahead of me tomorrow. I want to see Lily Duvain after the next show.
Yes, sir. That was an order. So Rip commenced his courtship. He didn't know it at the time, but in reality, it was like a minnow courting a hungry trout. To mix the metaphor further, Lily offered him just enough hors d'oeuvre to whet his appetite for the full banquet.
Porter crystal chandelier from Italy. The architect got the idea from a palace in Germany.
How wonderful.
Every stick of wood from the East Indies.
You must be very proud.
Come on.
How beautiful. Must have cost a great deal of money.
That's what money's for, to get beauty.
Rip, please.
Lily, what do you want from me?
Just honesty, Rip. I want what every woman wants.
Marriage? You would like to hear me say I love you? To get down on one knee and propose to you?
It only happens once to a woman.
All right, here's my proposal of marriage, though I'm afraid it'll have to be from the standing position. I'm worth quite a few $1 million. I'm not sure how much. I have this house and a small cottage on the peninsula. I offer you a share of all this for your hand in marriage. You will have security, luxury, and position. In return for that, I demand a loving wife to take care of my home. That's about it.
And all you offer is money?
I continue to live my life as I see fit.
It's like you were buying.
Call it what you like. Will you marry me?
Yes, of course.
Mrs. Rip McCool.
You like the sound of that, don't you?
Yes. It's my wife.
That's right.
Is there anything wrong?
No.
I don't think I understand.
What does it take, a house to fall on you?
Talk.
I'm your wife. I married you on your terms. You wanted me and I wanted your money. There was nothing in our business contract that said I had to like you.
Morning, Madame McCool.
This is my friend Shocker. He sort of runs the house.
He used to run it.
He still does.
That's right. She house boss now. I serve you, Madama.
If you ought to be our butler, I think you should be in livery.
A uniform? Not on your tintype.
The house will be run properly.
Now, you listen to me.
Just a minute, Rip. Wife run house make no never mind to me. What difference uniform make? I get tailor to come. You pick cloth. Something else?
No, thank you.
I'm sorry, Shocker.
Even under the strained circumstances of this arid relationship, nature took its inevitable course.
John Albert McCool.
John Albert, I baptize thee in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Put him in his bassinet.
That's a beautiful boy, Lily. I'm flattered you named him after me.
It was Rip's idea.
John's a good name.
Now that you're the baby's godfather, we should be seeing more of you. That was the idea, wasn't it, dear?
This lady here about job for a kid.
What do you think about it, Shocker?
Oh, nice little woman. She come from old country.
Monsieur?
Sit down.
Thank you.
You're French.
Oui, monsieur.
Your name?
Zoe Carnot.
Do you know anything about kids?
A little.
Well, I have a boy. He's a yearling. I want him to have the best of everything. You know, the right kind of food and proper clothing. You might even teach him to talk French.
A pleasure.
You like kids?
Oh, yes. I like kids. That is the most important.
To you or the kid?
For both, monsieur. But especially the child. If he feels he is not loved, it makes life very hard.
Yes, I know what you mean. All right, you're hired. I'll have Shocker show you to your room. You let me know how you get along. Did I forget something?
Something very important. The salary.
Oh. How about $50 a month in found?
Found means?
Board and room.
So the French girl went to work. The boy saw a lot of her. In fact, she was about the only one he did see. His mother was leading her usual useful and active life, and his father was busy carving out an empire. Zoe felt that the happy home was not too happy for the kid, so she had to talk with her boss. The gist of her conversation was that Rip must give his son more love. Rip agreed to give it a whirl.
What's the matter? Eat your food. It's lobster. It's good for you. Put hair on your chest.
It was a brief companionship. The child could not be blamed. Nothing held McCool's attention very long except making money. He was a lonely man in those days. And with McCool, it was as inevitable as mathematics. Loneliness equaled trouble.
Oh, up in a balloon, boys, up in a balloon, all among the little stars sailing round the moon. Up in a balloon, boys, up in a balloon. It's something very jolly to be up in a balloon. Oh, up in a balloon, boys, up in a balloon, all among the little stars sailing round the moon. Up in a balloon, boys, up in a balloon. It's something very jolly to be up, way up in a balloon.
Mac, as in mackerel.
How much?
The price depends upon whether or not you want your son.
I want him.
$1 million on the barrelhead.
It's a lot of money.
Not to stop the laughter.
How'll you do it?
Annulment?
Where?
Back east someplace.
All right.
When?
When you get on the train.
Fair enough.
You mind if I ask a question?
No, I don't mind.
Did you work it out with her?
I'm afraid I can't answer that. Testimony, you know. But I will tell you this much. Tonight is the end of a plan that started when I came to your table nearly 5 years ago.
Hail and farewell.
What a gal. I wish I'd known it.
The conventional weakness of great gamblers for women. Don't be misled, Ada. There is also the human side of Mr. McCool.
You've already spoken your piece, Johnny.
The side he keeps hidden from the world. Not the cold-blooded gambler, but the man of gentleness and pity and grief. Might be well for you to remember, too, Rip. In case you win that bank. For a year after Lily Duvain left, I saw little of you. But I did see a lot of your son and his governess. You've come to mean a great deal to me, Zoe.
That makes me very happy.
I would like for you to share my life. I could teach you to set type, run a press. If you're good, I might even let you write a piece for the magazine.
It sounds like a good life, Johnny.
I think we'd find some happiness with each other.
What would happen to John?
I don't know.
And Rip?
Rip?
He needs me too.
He needs no one.
Oh, you're wrong, Johnny. With all his wealth and power, he is afraid.
But a strong man.
He could be. But emotion frightens him. He is afraid even to love his own son.
I can see that Rip has some mighty advantages in this competition.
If someone needs your help, you cannot turn away.
All right, Zoe.
Zoe?
Yes?
They tell me people are talking about you living here.
Let them talk.
Well, I was thinking of the boy.
I see.
I think it would be a good idea if we got married. You better hear me out first. And I want you to go on raising John as you have been. He needs a mother.
Yes, monsieur.
Don't expect too much from me because I'm not a very good husband.
Will you try?
I doubt it.
So I know exactly where I stand.
That's the idea. Is it all right with you?
Yes.
Good.
San Francisco must have considered you a happy man in the years that rolled by. You had a beautiful wife and a fine son. My friendship with young John continued to flourish. I found him a delightful companion and tried to teach him what I considered some of the more important aspects of living, such as the proper relationship between a man, a fish, and a worm. The only discordant notes in these otherwise happy occasions were John's homecomings. I sometimes felt like an interloper. It became apparent, even to me, that the fires of your inner discontent were consuming your home, your marriage, and your fortune.
Glad you're home.
You'll have to cut expenses. Do you think you could let some of the servants go?
I already have.
Then it's no secret to you that I'm broke.
No.
Oh, it's only a temporary condition. There are transactions coming up.
Of course.
I have to go out again on business.
Good night, dear. I want to plan a dinner party for business reasons. Our credit is not so good, is it?
It's very little.
It must be a nice party. It will be expensive.
Why, a few dollars.
Oh, sugar, I didn't mean...
my money, Rip's money.
You are a good friend. Alexander Thompson will be the guest of honor. It is a gamble. I am hoping that out of the evening will come something to help with.
Why Thompson? He's broke. Éinda Stritts back him in stock market now.
I know, but Ada wouldn't come to this house, so we'll have to try with Thompson.
Maybe good gamble.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I certainly wouldn't have missed it, you know that. Oh, Rip, this is Miss Meadson.
When do we go to the festive board?
The girl can't hold her liquor.
I was admiring the painting. I think they're wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Dinner is served, madame.
Thank you, Shaka. Will you tell the other guests, please? Would you please excuse me?
Certainly.
Gentlemen, dinner is served.
Well, that's how it ended.
Oh, yes. Have you heard the rumors, Mr. Thompson, that the Comstock load is finished?
Great toads, Rip. Where do these ladies pick up this gossip? Don't you bother your pretty little head, Zoe. The good Lord deposited riches in Virginia City that'll keep pouring out the wealth till long after we're gone.
Oh, you're a big fibber, Allie. How can you tell such a big fibby? I heard you say the vein was petering out. You said you were going to sell all your mining stock, you said. Especially the Monin Liesel.
Miss Meadson.
Good heavens, I can't even say it. Mona Lisa. Must always tell the truth, Alex.
Would you be good enough to get my carriage? Miss Beebson is going home.
What did I say? Oh, what's the matter? Excuse me.
There, my dear.
Men, all they do is lie. I can't stand it. Oh, look at my face. Who's that Thompson think he is? Duke is a Comstock. Not a man. He's an octopus.
And I tell you, she was not drunk.
All right.
She put on her mouth paint, and her hand was very steady.
But what does that prove? Maybe she wanted to get away.
Don't you see? It was planned. Thompson wanted her to make that slip.
Zoe, what are you talking about? What was planned?
The vein in the mine being all through.
That's an old mine. That vein is finished.
Perhaps they have found a new one. They have found new veins in old mines before. It is possible.
It sure is. If that girl was sober like you said, that can only mean one thing. Éinda Stritch wants to knock the bottom out of the Mona Lisa stock.
So she can buy it up cheap.
It's a hunch. A good hunch. I've got to find out. There's a train leaving for Virginia City, 2 o'clock this morning.
Yes, go to Virginia City.
I've got to get down that mine and take a look. They're going to be tough. They're going to try to keep me out.
Take Shocker.
It's like old times. Well, if there is a new vein, I'd want to buy stock. I'd need at least $50,000.
You still own this house. I'll get it when you're gone. Of course, you will have to give me your power of attorney.
You could sell everything I've got left.
Yes, I could.
I've never trusted a woman in my life.
Perhaps it's time you started.
You've earned that, Zoe. Then it was a good idea. You know something else? You were quite an eyeful. You made this whole place shine.
Rip, don't.
All those men liked you, too. Will you stay away from them, you hear?
I will.
Just because they have more money than I have.
I've dreamed of the day I could write the mortgage on Rip McCool's house.
Thank you.
No offense meant to you, little lady, but if I could foreclose, my cup would runneth over.
No offense to you, Mrs. Stritch, but I am sure it will not happen.
I can dream. The cashier will take care of it for you.
Thank you.
Hal, what would Rip McCool's wife want with $50,000?
Probably to give to Rip McCool.
What would he want it for?
To play the market, perhaps?
Check up on him. Find out where he is, what he's up to.
I'll let you know in an hour.
$100 for your identity check, all right?
As long as you're crazy, I might as well make the money.
You're on the 8th level where they look at the identity checks, aren't you?
Correct. Line up at the cage about 10 minutes of midnight.
Any new men today?
I always got new men.
I got a wire here from Éinda Stritch. Have reason to believe Rip McCool in Virginia City. Use any means to keep him from 8th level. He said use any means.
Hey, Cousin Jack, what's up?
Oh, I was just looking at the ore.
Oh, the boss will be very happy to know that you personally look over all the ore before you shovel it. Hey, how long since you mucked?
Oh, I've got a little asthma. Short of wind.
Let's see your check.
It's a big load off my shoulders having that mortgage paid off, especially with your money.
You've always done all right with my money.
Ada, you're getting old. Time was when you and Thompson would have figured out a much better trick to take over a mine.
Ironically, Rip's comeback on the stock exchange was to affect the McCool household very little. He asleep?
Yes, he was very tired. What have you done today?
Oh, we had a kind of zoological expedition. We identified a mallard duck, a sandpiper, and a sea otter.
He lives only to come to your ranch, Johnny.
He's a fine boy. How's Rip?
Excellent, I think. He's making a great deal of money.
So I hear. He hasn't changed.
Making dollars, I'm afraid, is his great interest in life. I seldom see him. He lives at the stock exchange.
Zoe, I admire you very much. You have a truly divine patience.
Rip made very clear the terms of the marriage. I cannot complain.
Yes, but good heavens, a man has obligations.
You're as naive as I am. I hoped that marriage would change him, but why should it? It's a childish conception. You marry a person for what he is, not for what you hope he will turn out to be. I was warned, but I was romantic. I am as much at fault as he is.
Then you intend to go on like you are?
I have little choice now. I'm going to have a baby.
Does Rip know?
No. It's the oldest and most common device of all to hold your husband. I don't intend to use it.
But Zoe... He has a right to know.
Does he? He's got what he wants. When my child comes, I'll have what I want.
Hello, Johnny.
How are you, Rip?
John in bed?
Yes.
Well, I'm tired. Those wolves on the exchange are getting rougher every day. Boy out at your place today?
Uh-huh. I brought him home about an hour ago.
Yeah, the kid's growing up. You know, we don't see enough of him. He should spend more time with his parents.
Of course.
Johnny, I don't like to put it this way, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't invite him out to your place anymore.
Just as you say. Rip, I know it's none of my business, but shouldn't you consult John?
I think I can decide that, Johnny.
I won't ask him anymore. Good night, Zoe.
Good night, Johnny. How can you blame him? Johnny gives him everything you don't. He loves him unselfishly, lets him do what he wants to. He thinks of him, not his own pleasures or gratifications.
Are you trying to tell me I don't love him as much as Sanderson?
I'm saying exactly that. You love nothing but yourself. I think your son is very clever to spend more time with Johnny than he does with you. As a matter of fact, I envy him.
Well, you had the chance. Sanderson's always been in love with you. Why don't you go to him, too?
I'm your wife. That's why.
After that evening, I heard nothing from Rip for a long time, nor he from me. From Zoe, I had learned that when time made evident what she refused to tell her husband, Rip had accepted the news with his usual calm, or so it seemed outwardly.
You're wanted at the hospital, sir.
Thank you.
On Ophir and Santa Fe.
Carlson, keep an eye on Gould and Curry. I've got to go to the hospital for an hour.
Anything wrong?
My wife's having a baby.
Zoe. How do you feel?
Rip.
Zoe, don't let anything happen to you. What's the matter with her?
Bad luck, that's all. She had what we call a placenta previa delivery. The baby's blood supply was cut off. She was born dead.
Girl. Zoe would have liked to go. And my wife?
She had a great deal of hemorrhage.
There must be something you can do. Get the best doctors. I don't care about the expense. You can have all the money you need. All the money you want.
We've done everything that can be done. It'll be an hour or so before we know.
What's wrong, Rip?
Zoe is very sick. They don't know if she'll...
No. Baby?
Johnny, in these hours that have just passed, I discovered how lonely I've been all my life. I remembered how much Zoe offered and how little I had the courage to take. I robbed myself. Worse, I robbed Zoe. She had a heart full of love and no one to give it to. I wish I could go back and change all that.
Rip, why don't you let her know? Tell her what you just told me.
It may be too late.
If she can live, then hearing that will give her strength. Come on, Rip, I'll drive you over in my buggy now. Rip had no interest after that except beating the stock exchange.
And while doing it, he was tearing the state of California apart, including my bank.
The rest you know.
Oh. Nobody know the rest, only just me. The most important part, what happened to Rip McCool when he was a kid. He come from Kansas with Mama and Papa. They get almost so far as Virginia City.
Both man and woman dead. Cholera.
Stand back there, boy. You might have that cholera yourself.
Where are you taking him?
Deering's funeral parlor. I'm sorry, but you folks will have to get out of here before sundown. Oh, and another thing. Burn that wagon.
My mother and father here?
You from the wagon train? They're back there.
I want to bury him.
Plain or embalmed?
Embalmed. I want the best.
You'll want mahogany coffin. Deluxe coffins will run you $125 a piece. That's $250. Cemetery lot $20. Floral offering, decent burial talk. All told about $300. How much money you got?
Enough.
Cash?
I've got $17 and some stock in a mine.
Let me see. Just lay it there. Mona Lisa Mining Company. Where'd you get this stock?
My pa bought it back in Kansas. Paid $2,000. He figured we'd be able to live on it.
You could use them for starting a fire or stuffing up cracks.
What do you mean?
Stock's no good. Some burglar issued it. The mine closed 6 months after it opened. Well, the city will bury him for nothing.
My folks ain't paupers.
Well, you have to get him out of here within 48 hours. That's the law.
Mister, if you'll just give me jawbone, I'll pay you back every cent.
You're young, lad, but not too young to know some of the facts of life. This is the West. And out here you've got the jack or you haven't got it. With it, you're king. Without it, another drifter. There's no in between. And I haven't the slightest interest in burying your folks unless I get the money on the barrel head. And then I'll be full of sympathy and sorrow.
I remember what you said, mister.
Hey, boy. 8 hours for to go. Better take it easy. You want drink? You ever worked mine before?
Sure, all over the country.
Maybe you never worked hard rock mine before, huh? You swing pigs like you try to tear up earth all by yourself.
I need the money.
Must swing pig like you hear waltz music. Not just with hands and arms, but with back and shoulders, like this. Up and then down, easy. Up, down, easy. See? Now you try. It's good, boy. First class. Slow, easy. You live longer like that. What for you need money so bad?
To buy a piece of land.
You want land for fun?
To bury my mother and father. Any more questions? I want to rent a pick and a shovel.
Certainly. In that rack over there. Be a $2 deposit, 50 cents rent. You left these certificates. You want me to burn them?
Put them on the table.
Lad, no hard feeling.
Hard feelings? For what? You taught me a good lesson. I want to thank you. What's your name?
Shakovich Ninkovich. I come from Serbia.
I'll call you Shocker. I'll pay you back, Shocker.
I think that night as we come down the hill from the graveyard, he already know where he is going.
Very touching.
It's the first time I ever tell story, Rip. And the last time. I think maybe people should know.
You're under the gun, Ada. You call? Are you through cogitating?
There's my bank. Well?
The money will be at your bank in the morning.
I did it. I finally did it. I curled your hair. You're on the beach now, McCool. But if you ever need a job, my heart is loaded with pity.
Well, she's happy.
McCool? Was it a 4?
You'll never know, will you, Ada?
Good night, Rip.
Good night, Ada.